We bought just a little. About 6 million of the shares are attributable to another fellow in the office that's owned it for a considerable period of time. The rest are my portfolio, but I bought just a little bit. I like to buy them cheaper. I mean, it's very difficult. I started buying when the stock was maybe 100. I was buying it kind of as fast as I could, and then I ended up buying some as high, a whole lot higher. I won't name the exact price, but a whole lot higher. I'd rather have it go down. For one thing, if it goes down, Apple's going to buy a lot of stock back. They're already buying stock back. And if it goes down 10%, it means they get to buy 10% more shares. And my interest will go up 10% more for spending that money and buying shares. So I am benefited by going down. If I were to talk my book, I would talk it down.
I spoke with an analyst today, Gene Munster, and he pointed out that the interesting thing about Apple is that for a long time it was a very volatile stock. It kind of traded in this boom and bust cycle. Every time they had a new phone that came out, it would push the stock higher. If they didn't have a new release, it would drop. He said that it's still 65% of the business, but a lot of people are maybe looking at it a little differently. And he wonders how you look at it. Is this a boom and bust cycle, or is there something different
here? Not in the least. I don't, I like to see the new release do well, or, that. But I do not focus on the sales in the next quarter or the next year. I focus on they won't tell you exactly how many, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of people who practically live their lives by it. And if you look at that little piece of whatever it is, that is some of the most valuable real estate in the world. I mean, that is, Fifth Avenue will never come close to that. I mean, it is, you've got hundreds and hundreds of millions of people with loads of buying power and able to do business or learn information or whatever it may be, and it's part of their habit of living. I mean, they spend hours a day, and it does all kinds of things for them. So that real estate is worth a fortune, and it's nice to have it added to as they sell new phones, and of course a lot of them are replacement phones. But they're adding to hundreds and hundreds of millions of consumers that are never going to get to Fifth Avenue, or they're never, and you are an indispensable part of their lives. I mean, it's an extraordinary product.
So you don't even look at it like a tech analyst would, or like a tech company for that matter?
I look at iPad. Oh, you mean
just in terms of how you value this stock?
Oh,
it's consumer products.
They've got to keep having the product that there's huge clientele regards as indispensable. So it's got to be the best thing that they can tell us to when airplanes will arrive, or whatever it may be, what the weather will be, what stocks are doing, a million play games, whatever it may be, and that's important that their replacement products are looked at as super desirable. But one of the things that I grew to understand was we have a very large retailing operation, the Nebraska Furniture Mart, and if people went in to buy the latest iPhone or whatever it might be, if for some reason we didn't have it, you couldn't sell them anything else. They either went next door, which we didn't want them to do, or they came back. But I mean, it wasn't an alternative. And when you have a product that is that personal, that valuable, and they talked about the iPhone 10 costing $1,000, and that a lot of money. I have a plane that costs me a lot, maybe $1 million a year or something of the sort. If I used the iPhone, I use an iPad a lot. If I use the iPhone like all my friends do, I would rather give up the plane, which is $1 million or $1.5 million a year, for something that costs $1,000. I mean, the iPhone is enormously underpriced. Now it's got competition, so you can't push the price. But in terms of its utility to people and what they get for $1,000 someplace else, you're going to have a dinner party that costs that. And here this is, and what it does for you, it's incredible.